jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports. Talking way too much, world combat sports.
Big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official. No negotiations needed, period. You already know WCS is back in the building. Salute to those who are inbound, outbound, hanging around. You know what I'm saying? They're supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my guy Haynes Legacy. First on deck. You already know. Excuse me. You know, I just decided to come on and do an impromptu. You know, it's not going to be a long live, but yeah, I had to come in here and address the hottest chat in the game and talk about a little combat sports. You feel me? But salute to my family, first family, Haynes Legacy, man. Hope all is well. Salute to you and the wife and the fam. You know, hey, thank you for your prayers. As always, you already know. I appreciate you, brother. Respect, one love to you. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. For those of you that's been, you know, waiting for WCS to come back by. Yeah, I've been under the weather for quite some time. I wouldn't say under the weather. The weather's been a part of me. You know, as you can probably tell in my voice. But I'm gonna get through this the best way I can. As you've seen the titles, right? The title is, you know, Garcia, WBC gift, Wildest Redemption, Shakur versus Lopez, 50-50, UFC 324. So let me get this out the way. UFC 324. You know, I've always been a big MMA fan. And pretty much, we have a UFC fight card that's coming up. And I'm only really going to talk about the main card, to be honest with you. But let me bring this up right here. Let me share screen right quick. Okay, as you're looking at this right here, this is the UFC 324 card that's going down tonight. Is it a heavy card? No. But it's a pretty well put together card with some solid names of some fighters that's been in the championship square, contended. You know, there's been some fighters that has had the opportunity to make the best of it, and they became multi-time world champion in UFC. Those of you that it's not quite understanding of MMA rules, you know, you have 5 minutes per round, 3 minutes, you know, per non-championship fight, five rounds for the championship fight, 3 rounds non-championship fight, 5 rounds for championship fight. All the rounds are 5 minutes apiece. Okay. So therefore, you have to understand that MMA is a mixed martial arts combat skill set. It requires you to use every part of your body, right? But the only part that's the ninth limb, it cannot be used as a striking tool, as a striking mechanism, is your head. Your head can be used up against a cage to make your opponent uncomfortable, but you cannot use it to headbutt your opponent. Besides that, you can pretty much use your shoulders, your elbows, your fists, your knees, your thighs, your shin, your feet, any of that, spinning techniques. You know what I'm saying? Level changes from grappling to on the stand up striking. You can use all that. But this particular fight card right here, it has some okay, you know, fights on the card. We're gonna start with the Rose Namajunas. Rose Namajunas, as you already remember, she's been multi-time world champion, and she's won the title against Zhang before, and she was defeated. You know, um, lost that title and was able to recover it after Zhang went in there and won the title back. And then Rose came back in there and won the title back herself. She was the first woman to lose a title in the women's strawweight division and regain the title. So Thug Rose Namajunas has been one of my favorite female fighters for quite some time. She's going in there against Natalia Silva. And I know her original fight was canceled for whatever reason. Might have been weight, but she's on the main card right now. The one thing I love about mixed martial arts is that you can lose and you still get a chance to get your title back, or you can lose and you can still get put in there with a big name opponent. You will see, like, unlike boxing, that MMA fighters, they have multiple losses. You know, some more than others, but they have multiple losses. But that doesn't grade them. They have a different type of grading system when it comes to respect level from the fan club. Unlike boxing, you have like 4 losses or 2 losses in a row, and they just basically brush you off into the shadows and put you in the trash bin and say, you know, so and so ain't it. But in MMA, you know, they take losses all the time. So you have Thug Rose Namajunas right here going in there against Silva. I like that fight. You know what I'm saying? I definitely like that fight. Age of 33 years old for Thug Rose Namajunas. She still got some landscape to cover before she get a little bit too old and have to catch a cab. You know, she got some landscape out there. She can still cover without taking an Uber. You know, you have my guy Derek Lewis. We already know the beast. Derek Lewis has had his opportunity. He's 40 years old. He's been in there for a title shot. Wasn't able to get it done, but he had some memorable fights. Oh, Derek Lewis out of Texas. Good guy, man. Love seeing Derek Lewis fight. You know, as big as he is, he's came a long way with working on his overall, you know, mixed martial arts game. Being a little bit more unpredictable, working on his ground game. Because, you know, before they used to be able to take him down, put him on his back, and run the clock out on him. But he's been working on his game, man. And he has power. He has that explosive, entertaining power. He's going there against Waldo Cortez Acosta. I don't think Acosta's a pushover. I don't. He's 16-2 to Derek Lewis 29-12. I don't think this is gonna be an easy fight for Lewis, man. Even though I'm biased with Lewis because he's one of my favorite. He's 40 years old now. Acosta's a young gunner that's on the rise right now. So he go in there and put a Derek Lewis on his win column. That's gonna make him look good for a bigger fight. Keep your eye out for that. Sanya Dung going in there against Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, a former champion. Yadung is a tough individual, yo. Always in tremendous shape. You know, a lot of people get infatuated with the Asian fighters, but the Asian fighters, they can fight. I don't know if you all are linked in to One Championship, but they have some very entertaining fights over there, yo. So, keep that. Hey, shout out to the first lady in the building, Miss Haynes Legacy on deck. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up, as always. Hit the like button if you're in the building. Yeah, Sonya Dunn is a very tough opponent. Sean O'Malley is tall, lanky. He's been in the championship arena before. He's held the title. This is going to be a tough fight. Sean O'Malley, regardless, you know how it used to be back in the day when you had that height on you. When it came to level changing and wrestling, it was easy for somebody to say, I'm the shorter fighter, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get in close on the hips and I'm gonna go for a takedown, regardless, put them on their back. But the game has evolved so much that tall fighters, they work on takedown defense, or they work on working off their back, or they just simply work on counter shots. For the entry of these fighters that see that they may be vulnerable for a takedown, work on knees. Work on counterattacks as they're going in, level changing for a takedown, whether it be a single, double, to be able to defend that. Sean O'Malley has shown that, he's continuing to be versatile, but yet Young Yadon is this powerhouse, man. He's this powerhouse of a fighter, so that's gonna be a good fight. O'Malley 18-3, Yadon 22-8-1 with no contest. Very, very good matchup. And then we go to the main event. Absolutely one of my favorite fighters in the game. Nothing against Paddy Pimblett, but Justin Gaethje. Man, I like Justin Gaethje as a fighter, even though he's never won a world title. When I say a world title, I'm talking about the UFC. World Series of Fighting, before it was absolved, I used to watch Justin Gaethje fights. I mean, very war. I'm talking about straight up chaos and mayhem, go to war type of mentality. If you was an MMA fan, you went to a Justin Gaethje fight, you knew it was going to be fireworks, it was going to be ammunition, it was going to be dynamite explosion. He was going to give you every bit of action that you was looking for. That's what Justin Gaethje brought to the MMA game. Prior to him moving over to the UFC, when he came into the UFC, he had 2 tough fights, yo. You know what I'm saying? He had 2 tough fights, Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. And, a lot of people was expecting him to come over here and run through them, but no. Eddie Alvarez, yes, he had won a championship in every other division outside of the UFC. Dude was a serious problem. The underground king, as they called him. Dustin Poirier, somewhat similar rise as Justin Gaethje, been in the UFC, but never could win a world title. But he can fight. Justin Gaethje is now at the point where he's on the last chapter of his career. He's considered I consider him one of the legends of mixed martial arts. And that's the good thing about mixed martial arts. To be considered a legend, it doesn't depend on how many titles you won. In MMA, you can have some guys that's been in there with some top big dogs, some elite fighters. I'm talking about champions, non-champions. And they've given you wars. They've given you very exciting fights, memorable fights. Justin Gaethje is one of those guys. Paddy Pimblett is trying to get to the respect status of a Justin Gaethje. And he has that opportunity tonight to go in there and finish Justin. As y'all remember, when he was fighting Max Holloway, he has this, gesture that he points to the center of the ring and, and wants you to go all in. Just fold everything, just go all in. No regard for defense, no nothing. And Justin Gaethje, unfortunately, he accepted the invitation. The invitation he should have left in the mailbox. Every Hallmark card isn't meant to be read. And that dude went out there, Justin Gaethje, and met Max Holloway, and Holloway knocked him out cold, yo. The knockout went viral. And, for Gaethje, should he have played it smart? Because sometimes a visual is better left unseen. What I mean by that is Justin Gaethje would have just went to the final tick and won and lost, because he lost that fight and lost via decision. It would have looked better. It would have felt better. Then when the matchmakers over at the UFC, they could have just said, yeah, let's bring Justin back in here. But just like in boxing, just like anything, you always look at the top of the box rate. When they lose by KO, they get suspended for a certain period of time, right? But Justin Gaethje to go in there and accept that invitation, The way he was knocked out and landed face first, it was brutal. It was brutal. So people's like, hey man, Justin Gaethje should retire. His chin ain't there no more. He don't have any more sustainability. His chin is gone. He's been in too many wars and all that. And tonight is no different. Patty Pimblett is saying he's going in there to finish Gaethje. Patty Pimblett, man, a guy who gains weight in between fights, who people took for granted early on, he's solid, yo. Patty Pimblett has absolutely proved to the people that he's just not this goofy Aussie. I think he's from Australia. Let me check right quick. Let me double check because the information is available. Patty Pimblett is from Liverpool, England. Okay, that's why I always say, "Let me get my shit. Let me check it out." He's from Liverpool, England, right? So, he had this goofy little persona of him, coming on to the UFC and pretty much, giving the impression that he wasn't so-called taking the sport serious, but he really was taking it serious. And he's been able to win some pretty decent fights and build his reputation. He hasn't really been in there with any top names. He's been in there with some guys who are considered respectable, experienced veterans, but has he been in there with the top dogs of the UFC? Well, he's about to go in there with Justin Gaethje. Even though Justin Gaethje is met the losing column, he's been in there with him. He's about to be in there with him tonight. This guy gains weight in excess of maybe in between, his division. I would say, him fighting he's fighting Justin Gaethje, I believe 155. Yeah. This is for UFC interim lightweight championship. So he's fighting at 155 lightweight division. In boxing, the lightweight division is 135. In mixed martial arts, the lightweight division is 155. So he might gain anywhere up to 175 and go up to 180 pounds. The same stuff they were saying that, Spence was doing back in the day. But he cuts down all the time and looks shredded and go in there and make the fight very entertaining. And that's what we're about to see tonight. We're about to see Patty Pimblett challenge Justin Gaethje. And for those of you who somewhat are MMA fans, you should tune in for that. I think it's going to be a very entertaining main event, and we'll leave it at that. It should start around 7 to 8 p.m. All right. Moving on. As I said before, the Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios situation. So this is how I see it. We all know what happened. I'm not gonna, take out the shovel and go digging up old, bones of racial insensitivity because there's too many out there. But if we're talking about skeletons now, if we're talking about walking around with skeletons, Ryan Garcia's skeletons is not in the closet. Them joints out here dancing in the street, everywhere, and they laughing and they're pointing. I don't think Ryan Garcia, for what he did with Devin Haney fight, the penalty he had to pay, talking about he lost this and that and the other, I don't think he truly had an effect that damaged him enough to the point where it slowed him down. Ryan Garcia said what he said, right? And for him to get suspended only for a year to come back and be the main event in Times Square tells me that certain people still consider racial vulgarity or insults just total disrespect. They take it lightly. They consider it to be something of very low, mediocre importance. They don't consider it to be high tier. They don't consider it to be a threat. For him to come back and get put on a main event, not only that, before if you go to the Riyadh season, they had the controversial fighters out there presenting awards. Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, they had them out there presenting awards. So for Ryan Garcia to come back and get a main event, get paid at that now, get paid, yo. How many fighters do you see be in a controversial fight where they originally won, but they've tested positive, for performance enhancing drugs, come back off suspension, get rewarded a main event, lose the main event, and then come back for a title shot in the same division, in the exact same division, you getting a title shot. The only other person that I can say without the racial insensitivity that was gifted like that, I'm talking about golden child, was Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero knocked out by Tank, inserted into the 140-pound division in front of the line, went up there, and Tony Weeks, I mean, if you ever seen a Black Santa on deck, Tony Weeks was it. Tony Weeks was the Black Santa. His outfit wasn't red, y'all. It was black trimmed in gold. He went up there and robbed Barroso of his night to become world champion. But you see some fighters that have complexion. That complexion provide them protection, right? And we never know internal to the boardroom how they was even selected. But Ryan Garcia is up next for Mario Barrios, and he's going to win this fight. Ryan Garcia is going to win this fight. He's going to look good against Mario Barrios, who's been known to take punishment. He's going to win. And whether people are going to be cheering Ryan on, yeah, it's one of those deals where it's a slap in the face, as always, for boxing, because they show you point blank on how they rule book is different from our criteria to make that rule book. Us as media sometimes believe that we can write rules for other people's rule book. When boxing, it pretty much demonstrates to us all the time that their SOP has nothing to do with our input. Absolutely none. So when they corral some of these boxers and put them in places and you don't think they've earned it, this is a perfect example of Ryan Garcia coming back for a media title shot with Mario Barrios. And he's about to become WBC world champ, WBC welterweight world champion. And then they're going to probably put him in a unification bout, or they're going to, put him in a bout where he can make some money. Who knows who he's going to be in there with? I doubt it's going to be Rolly Romero in a unification in a rematch. I doubt it's going to be Brian Norman Jr. I doubt it's going to be Boots. I mean, not Boots. What's his name? What's the other? It's been a minute. The other champion. Let me go over here right quick. I doubt it's going to be anybody that you're going to say, oh my God, they putting Ryan Garcia in there already with this person. He just won a belt. I think it's going to be somebody. So you got Lewis Crocker, okay? You got Lewis Crocker, the IBF. You have Mario Barrios that Ryan Garcia is supposed to be fighting next. And you're looking at the ranking system. Ryan Garcia is ranked number 4, but you know how boxing play. And then you got Devin Haney. I definitely ain't going to be Devin Haney in a rematch. That's what I was trying to get at. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, if Ryan Garcia wins the belt, I seriously think that fight's going to happen for unification in a rematch. I don't see it happening. I see Rolando Romero being somewhere, somehow, scheduled for a fight. I don't think it's going to be against anybody with a more popular name than Ryan Garcia. But anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? Moving on from that, I want to talk about Wilder's redemption, right? Wilder's redemption to come back and fight Derek Chisora. People ask me, well, do you think that's a good fight for Wilder? Wilder is a vet. So therefore, Wilder selects to come in here and fight a tough, durable, rugged, they call them guys journeymans. As Derek Chisora, that's his choice. That's his choice what he want to do. At this point in time, that's his choice, man. If he feels that Derek Chisora is the fighter for him, and we all know how rugged and tough and Derek Chisora can be, how he's shown that he's durable. Wilder's shown that he's durable in a way, but people don't look at Wilder's durability in the same balanced fashion as they do Derek Chisora. But if he believes that Derek Chisora is a good opponent for him to fight prior to potentially getting a fight with Oleksandr Usyk, so be it. I'm not going to break this down and provide you, detailed analytics into why I believe the formula is all wrong for Deontay Wilder to fight Derek Chisora. No, he's old enough. He's been in the game long enough. If he selects to fight Derek Chisora, so be it. You know who I'm going for. Deontay Wilder all day, every day. To this day, to that day, to yesterday, to tomorrow day. I'm going for him over Derek Chisora. Point blank, period. Bias, raise the flag, running in the air. I'm going for Deontay Wilder to go in there and get this redemption fight. However he selects to do it, if he goes the distance or if he knocks him out. I'm going for Deontay Wilder to go in there and get this guy up out of here. I have nothing against Derek Chisora. I like his mentality as a fighter. He always bring that havoc. Always bring that havoc. Always, as we used to say, he bring that static. But what do you do to static? You got that dynamite, that TNT in Deontay Wilder. Power is the last to go. So I believe Deontay still has that power. And if he's able to land, when he lands, a fighter that's always giving you that present pressure right there, come forward, I believe he can land that shot on Chisora, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So salute to the Bomb Squad, man. Definitely looking for you to get that fight. Definitely hope that fight goes through. We've seen Derek Chisora signing the contract. Hopefully everything goes well with that for the Bronze Bomber. For anybody who forgot, at the end of the day, I always let them know when it comes down to it, the access is always bang.
Bomb Squad!
Yeah, classic. Hey, shout out to a real one, C-Dub in the building. I don't get a chance to tell you this, C-Dub, but thanks for supporting the channel, even when people don't even see you doing it behind the scenes. Thanks for dropping the cash app. You're a real, genuine, you're supporter of the channel, brother, who support Offset. Don't tell nobody shit. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, man. Real talk. Real talk. Appreciate you always pulling up, supporting the channel, man. And then the one people want to hear the most is Shakur versus Lopez a 50-50 in my opinion? Shakur versus Lopez is a 50-50. The only reason I'm saying that is that Shakur is moving up a division. He went the distance with William Cepeda. He didn't stop him. So why are you all saying that Shakur Stevenson is going to go in here and stop Teofimo Lopez just because he's moving up in weight? Now, granted, certain things does happen. Shakur Stevenson lost his belts at 130 prior to him moving up to 135, right? Right? So he's moving up a division 140 pounds to face Teofimo Lopez. Now, is he going to feel good? Is he going to give us a Devin Haney type-esque performance that he did when he moved up? Well, I don't look at them as the same because Shakur really never been one of those fighters who balloon up in weight. Just balloon up in weight and image, when he rehydrates or anything like that. He never just gave me that heavy side of him. He's always been in tip-top condition, right? Teofimo Lopez has had several fights at 140. So when it comes down to me seeing Shakur moving up from 135, coming off a William Cepeda decision, I don't see him at this point. I don't see it. Just like I didn't see Devin Haney getting a knockdown on Ryan Norman Jr. I didn't see it, but he was in better shape. He filled out the 147-pound division. He did what he needed to do. Shakur Stevenson, does he have the speed? Yes. Does he have the technical ability? As far as his entire boxing cachet, his boxing tools, his entire class, his entire textbook that they've been praising him forever and a day. Yes. Does that somewhat exceed that of Teofimo Lopez at the end? Yes. When it comes to Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, people will always give the edge to Shakur for having more all-around polished textbook of the science of boxing. You just see it. Now for Teofimo Lopez, they give him the edge for power. They give him his maneuverability, how he's able to hit angles, be more fluent on his feet. Sometimes Shakur Stevenson can be flat-footed. Teofimo Lopez has good mobility when he gets into his groove. Who has the faster hand speed? It all depends. They said that Shakur had faster hand speed than William Cepeda, but Cepeda was still able to catch him several times in that fight. It all depends. Do you really want to stand up against the ropes with Teofimo Lopez? I don't know. Because Teofimo Lopez, his punch output to me is not like William Cepeda. If Shakur was up on the ropes against Teofimo Lopez, I don't think Lopez is going to be in there swinging and banging, closing distance. I don't think he's going to give Shakur Stevenson that type of turbulence that William Cepeda, that's embedded in Cepeda to fight like that. Not so much Teofimo Lopez. So I look at this fight as being a 50-50. Whoever has the better mindset, of course, Shakur is over there training with the legend himself, and many others that's training him. But he has Crawford, of course. He's been over there for a good long minute. And I expect if Shakur is paying attention and listening, digesting all that information, and being able to go over there and make those reputable, those credible, those memorable adjustments, collect the proper data, and execute the action to formalize the result, I believe he would go in there and shine against Teofimo. Teofimo has been known to get beat up by fighters that he shouldn't have gotten beat up by. People talking about Shakur's freaking his power. Man, it's called boxing at the end of the day. We've seen that with William Cepeda, and I believe we're going to see it again with Teofimo Lopez, but I do believe it's going to be a tough fight. Dodge J in the building, what's good? C-Dub said, Stevenson on a mission, WCS, you will see the best in the world. Yeah, I think Stevenson, the way he's coming in here, he's competing for us, another division, of course. This would be his fourth division. And what better fight to have than a championship fight as your first fight in that 140-pound division against a former unified champion at 135, who Teo has a reputable resume. He does. At one point in time, he did beat Lomachenko, who was on the top of pound for pound. He did. But I believe if Teo can go ahead and beat Shakur Stevenson, it'd be something different, even different than Lomachenko. For one, Shakur Stevenson is undefeated. The hype around Shakur Stevenson has made a resurgence. He had his outs against, Toka Conclar and Jeremy Nakathelia. And then he really had a little down spike in his performance where he showed to be a little bit frightful. He didn't want to throw punches, and people held him accountable for that. But since then, even with was it Cuevas? Once again, let me look it up. He went in there against De Los Santos. Oh, Artem, not Cuevas. Artem. When he went in there with Artem, people wasn't really impressed with that. And then the Josh Padley last minute, he wasn't gonna get no credit for that. He went in there and stopped him in the 9th round, but he was a last minute replacement. But like I said earlier, when he went in there and fought Edwin De Los Santos, people gave him a full dump truck. They gave him a dump truck on his front lawn of shitty comments, trash comments. They say, don't nobody want to look at that. You boring. You can't sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? When he went in his hometown over there at the Prudential in Newark and fought Artem, they said people's walking out of the arena. They didn't want to see him fight. But with Josh Padley, he was able to regain some of that likeness that he lost when he fought Artem and Edwin De Los Santos. He was able to regain some of that back, even in the last minute replacement. And then with William Cepeda, he really was able to get people back on his side. The fight fans was like, okay, this is the Shakur that we know. This is the Shakur we like to see right here. Very entertaining, very action-packed, very engaging. He was willing to fight on the inside, somewhat similar to the pockets that Crawford had with Canelo. They was like, okay, William Cepeda, he's a tough fighter. Shakur went in there and did what he needed to do. But with this Teofimo Lopez fight, he needs to go in there and make it look easy. He needs to go in there, even if it go the distance. He need to go in there and beat Teofimo Lopez up. He need to outwork him, make him miss. He need to be who he is. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Shakur Stevenson need to be that guy. Go in there and take Teofimo Lopez's belt. I'm definitely going for Shakur Stevenson. Definitely. Teofimo used to be one of my favorite fighters, but there's certain things you don't get. One of these forgiveness letters, these IOUs. Oh, if you make it to this point, the expiration. No, it's no statutory limitations. I didn't appreciate what he said, how he said it, how comfortable he was. I never experienced that when I was covering him. But, people change over time. I'm definitely going for Shakur Stevenson to go in there and put those gloves on him in a fashion that he ended up becoming a 4-division world champion. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want Shakur to go in there and get a Teofimo Lopez on his win column and take that WBO belt so we can potentially wake up the 140-pound division, because I don't know what's going on up there. But thanks for the comment there, C-Dub. Shout out to the OG Bruce Gas in the building. He said, Lopez, he wants his damn respect like LeBron James. I mean, it's nothing wrong with a man wanting his respect. Depending on what sport you play, or what's your full-time, employment, what's your fan base like, it's okay for a man to want to be that. The good thing about that, C-Dub, is that Lopez is in a sport where there's a one-on-one. It's more easy to gain that recognition. You have more lenses on you. You have more people analyzing you directly. Point A to B and back to A. As a team sport, you have to stand out. You're basically, your performance value may be itemized throughout the team. But in boxing, your performance value is itemized by your performance against that other opponent. So that other opponent has to have some value within his or herself. And in this case, Shakur Stevenson, a silver medal Olympian, he has value. He has more divisions than Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez has been considered undisputed in the franchise era. Though people don't want to recognize it, and I'm not here to debate that, but he does have a Lomachenko on his record. He does have a Josh Taylor on his record. No ifs, ands, or buts, no nothing. He has that on his record, yo. And ain't nothing you can do about it. So this matchup, it balances out very, very well, yo. Very well when it comes to the credentials. Very, very well. Even though you can say Shakur Stevens was unified and and everything. I mean, you still have to look at Teofimo Lopez and what he was able to do at 135. And then what he was able to do, come up here and pretty much defeat an undisputed champion who wasn't defeated. 2-division lineal champion. You have to respect that. I'm just saying. He says Stevenson Lopez it is going to be a classic. Hey, I'm hoping the same, yo. You know what I'm saying, C-Dub? I hope it's a classic too. We just want the best to fight the best starting a year like this. Yes, that way. We want the best fighting the best. But we all know with those bag lunches, CW, sometimes you look in there and they give you the same bologna sandwich with that government cheese. You ain't trying to hear that. You want that premium ham. You want that oven roasted turkey. You know what I'm saying? You want that premium slices of meat. Not the kind that tastes all salty like Spam. You want that premium meat. You want that premium, that provolone, that Swiss cheese. You know what I'm saying? You don't want the bag lunch with the bologna sandwich with the little specks on it. You got to pick the specks out. Sometimes that's what boxing give us. What's the big fights that's going down in 2026 that everybody's jumping up and down for? You know, that's all excited. We don't know. Where's the cheer squad for the projected fights in 2026? We don't know yet. Like Crawford and Canelo really depleted and just sucked the air out of a lot of boxing because the expectation for Canelo to go in there and beat Crawford, it didn't happen. So what's next for 2026? Who's next up? Who can be the next big superstar? Is it going to be in the heavier divisions? Is it going to be in the middleweight divisions? Who? Can we have a boxer come out that we haven't seen in a minute? I don't know, bro. I don't know what 2026 is going to look like. We got Clarissa Shields and Franchon Cruz-Dezurn in the rematch. Yeah, I mean, salute to the sisters, for real. Don't have nothing bad to say about that fight, man. It's just good if they can get more money and get more recognition. You know, even Joshua Jake Paul, it sucked, you know, some air out of boxing. It sure did. Because somehow, some way, on an 8-round fight, I think on the money aspect of it, those are individuals that was on the inside. I truly believe they wanted that fight to go to 8 rounds. And just so Jake Paul can return another day and freaking make some more million. If by chance it's true that he made upwards of 70 something, whatever. I don't get into those numbers. You know, some people was pissed off that Joshua knocked him out. Yo, they were super pissed. Shout out Andrew Charles in the building. What they do, Andrew? Man, I hope all is well being your way, man. Everybody that's on deck. Always thanks for supporting the channel, bro. T.O. Shakur is a pretty sweet matchup. Hard to get 2 bigger names than that. I agree. Especially in this time of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Boxing reminds me, of an old Western town, abandoned Western town, man. And you riding through that joint, man. And really, it's no life to it. All you see is active tumbleweed rolling through that joint, man. That's what boxing. I'm just looking for it to be active, for it to be, fights that we can look forward to and talk about with enthusiasm. And we can try to say, okay, yeah, we know for a fact if so and so win this fight, they're gonna fight. We don't know that no more. The way they run these divisions, when certain people win titles or get in the position to fight for a title, when they get the title, it just seems like it stalls out, yo. Like you forgot. Like you forgot you was driving a vehicle that still run on gas. Like you ignored the warning sign that you was E, you know. You running out of gas, low on gas, low on gas. Like, it would be good if we can get a schedule. We can't get a full schedule because pretty much the schematics has changed. The entire manifesto with the promotions and networks have changed. We really don't know what's going on over here, over there. Things have changed in the last 4 years. Really, really bad. Like, we can't even predict certain things are going to fight. Like, it's good that Dana White was able to put on the fight at Allegiant Stadium for Crawford Canelo. But what's next after that? That's the bigger question. What's next? Boxing cooled off a lot since Crawford Canelo. It's up to these youngins to step up. Yeah, somebody said that earlier. It's up to the youngins to be next up. And a ways back on my live, I started talking about the old guard being replaced by the new guard. But the new guard had to come in here with the clear understanding that what the old guard had done, like, just think about this. Crawford Canelos, right? The notable names, even the Errol Spencers, man, the Lomachinkos. With the old guard out the door, it doesn't necessarily mean you're an automatic replacement. And the value of popularity that the fans gave these old guard was automatically going to be grandfathered into these younger guard. We just don't get it. It's like people don't hear see the younger guard in between fights. Until they get a fight, man, the younger guard comes back out. Oh, guess what? We having a press conference. We have a face-off. It's so diluted. It's so diluted. What about Boots? Boots has 35 victories. And he's the only boxer that I really talk about a boxing fight call. Why can't he get me make the fight with Ortiz, yo? Why can't he get a big name fight that we can say like Canelo Crawford? Why can't a rivalry? Where are the rivalries at? Where are the rivalries? Somebody explain to me, where are these rivalries at? Why are they so dormant? Why are they just sitting around, non-existent? Nobody can fight each other twice no more. And I know people gonna say, well, WCS, if you really want to be serious about it, we didn't see your boy Crawford up here fighting fighters twice. You're right. But the names that he was facing, he had Spence on the rematch. Spence didn't want the rematch. Madrimov didn't have a rematch. Canelo didn't want the rematch. It wasn't no rematch in that. But what about the youngins, though? Where are the rematches at? I'm not talking about Tevin Farmer, William Cepeda. Where are the rematches of the top tier guys who's making a stamp in the division, who's establishing their presence? Where are the youngins to start up a rivalry so we can get a Gennady, Canelo, at least two now? Because we didn't put in a Groupon or a freaking subsidized freaking ticket to get approved for the trilogy. We wanted one. We wanted two. That was a rivalry while it lasted. Where's the Charlos at? The 168-pound division is open now. I'm just curious to know At 154 pounds, are we going to have any rematches? Where are the rivalries at? 147 pounds. Can we get a rivalry? Can we have a rematch happen? Can we get a Ryan Garcia and a Devin Haney? If Ryan Garcia wins this belt against Mario Barrios, can we get that? That's all I want to know, yo. That's all I want to know. 135 pound. Oh my goodness. That division has now become the scene for I Am Legend. I don't know where Tank is at. El Chin Checker. Salute to Abdullah Mason. Unfortunate for Abdullah Mason, he's in a division right now where Fred is the only one that may potentially be his opponent. What you doing out here, Fred? They didn't send me the contract yet. What you talking about? We gonna fight next? Huh, Fred? What you doing? They didn't say we was gonna fight next, Fred. You don't look like you on weight. You know what I'm saying? That's the I Am Legend Division 135, yo. That shit went down. Shakur Stevens was right. 100%, 1,000% right to get the hell up out of that mug. Forget going in the building looking for zombie. I mean, fighting the zombies, looking for your dog. He said, no, I'm going to take my ass up 140 pounds. The division is done. What about Murathai and Andy Cruz? I'm not going to crap on them. I hope it'll be a good fight. I know 130 pounds. It's still some faces down there, some names. But where the spark at? Who's challenging who? Shout out to Ashaki Foss. I hope he get his respect sooner or later. They seem like they don't want to fight him, yo. He got a Stephen Fulton on his belt now. I mean, come on. Shoo. We got to see some names. We got to see some of them big dogs, from the lower division step up. I know Bam Bam Rodriguez still out there. But boxing as it is, man, it's became very banal at the end of the day, man. We're looking for some new material. Not stitched material. We're looking for some new material when it comes to putting something on the reel that can draw the fight fans back to the seats. Jesus. Same to you, Andrew. You already know, big dog. I would like to see Ennis Boots fight the champions in 154. Man, hey, C-Dub, I like to see that with telescope lens. I would like telescopic lenses. I would like to see that, bro. I would like to see that. I'm so disinterested when Boots' name pop up. 35 victories, bro. What are you trying to become, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? What are you trying to do, man? When are you going to consistently step in the ring with a big dog? Why can't we make Boots Ennis versus Jermell Charlo? If Ortiz can't get the fight. How many names does it have to be? No, let's go back. How many names does it have to be? Let's go over here again. Hold up, Hold up, y'all. So we're going to 154, right? What about the Murtaza Aliyev? It's okay for him to go in there against Zoo, put hands on Zoo. Why nobody can't make, why Ennis can't call out them? As a black fighter, man, 35 victories. We're trying to put you in the premier position. You said you want to be undisputed in 4 divisions? Negro, what? Sebastian Fundora, Xander Zayas. 54 has the grand potential for the cup to overflow it, man. for the fans to get intoxicated off some entertaining matchups. I just don't see it. Like Xander, Sebastian Fundora, Ennis, Mertis Layev. The names are out there, man. The names are out there. It's a business. The boxing sometimes get in the way. It always gets in the way, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Don't it? Boxing always gets in the way, man. Just when you think you have some perfect names lined up for a bout and the quality of op registers across the board, the quality of opposition registers across the board as what people want to see, what the fight fans want to see happen. It ain't no magical show. It ain't no ta-da, fool you. Once again, sucker. We got that at 54. I'm not trying to make this an Ennis live, but I'm saying, God dang, Ennis, you got 35 victories, bro. I can't really call the next run up is going to be at this point. Man, good point. Good point. Yeah, I don't know what's going on 147 pounds right now, man. It used to be a thick book of potential. Like the chapters you had at one point in time at 147 in the last couple of years, you say, okay, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. There's some good potential matchups right there. That's nice. Until they start trying to insert Manny Pacquiao into the fray. Manny Pacquiao getting these title shots. Can't beat Mario Barrios and then trying to give him a title shot at another champion. No, yo. Why is Ryan Garcia able to be inserted into these positions, but yet Boots Ennis can't? Yeah, I know. People are going to say Eddie Hearns. They're going to say, oh, this and that. All that. Is that business? Is Boots doing enough to try to make that happen? I don't know, man. Devin probably going to sweep 147. I hope he does sweep it. Devin Haney has already swept 135. I hope he sweeps that shit with a heavy broom. Steel bristles. Not a manual, but an automatic. I hope he sweep the 147 pound with a mechanical broom, a street sweeper. Clean it out. Why not? If people, if they're unwilling to make the fights, and Devin has already cleaned out the 135 with every belt, why not go up there to 147 pound and try to make some good fights and make it happen? I don't know if he's going to give Norman Jr. a freaking rematch. It's highly unlikely from what I assume. And then I don't think Rolly Romero is going to be up for that. I think they probably got a different type of business route they're going to take Rolly Romero and get him off that highway. Because right now, from what I'm looking at, Devin Haney is the best at 147 right now. That's crazy, being that they was just saying Boots was the best at 147, and then hopefully we was going to get a rival with Norman Jr. and Boots. That never happened. So Ennis move up to 154, and ain't nobody saying he the best at 154. So now Haney can actually go in there if he chooses to, go on an undisputed round, and people will tune in. People tune in. 154 pounds, I really don't know what the hell. Boxing is very fickle. We got shout out to Marlon King Boxing on deck. Boxing is very fickle sport. Who knows why he not getting them? Man, come on, man. Come on. Eddie Hearn say he's gonna get him, some of the best fights. Why they do 35 victories in, he can't get fights, man? What are they going to do with the Muhammad Ali Act will be crucial to the spirit of competitive integrity. Competitive integrity. Competitive integrity. A fighter cannot compete if the promoter doesn't have the integrity to let his fans know that they're moving him in a different direction. How can a fighter that doesn't have the competitive side to him and he lacks integrity, how can he jump outside what his manager or promoter is already doing and say, no, I want this to happen. Please let me get this fight. I want this fight. But you don't hear that from Boots. But I do like the I do like the competitive integrity. You know, it can go many different ways, but I do get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying, man. But man, hey, big shout out to the Hottest Chat in the MF game, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in for an hour. You know, y'all continue to hold it down, man. Be safe out there in 2026. And we're gonna see how this boxing schedule goes. Real talk, we're gonna see how it goes, man, because right now it's looking very cloudy. You know, it's giving me the chills, just like this storm supposed to be rolling in the south, and you know, and coming here and dropping a little bit here and there. It just don't seem like boxing has those, not money fights, but those matchups of interest that we can clamor and get on here and get behind the mic and feel good about talking about. I mean, all we doing is just come on here talking about what could possibly happen, what if, and all this stuff. Like, it's really nothing that's concrete, solid that we can talk about. But hey, shout out to the House Chat and MF and Gang. Till next time, man, we'll do it again. And y'all continue to hold it down. Y'all support. The Cash App is floating on the bottom. Salute. Peace.